I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Yes. All right, first on the agenda of business is approval of the minutes. Did you both have time to peruse the minutes and any questions, changes, comments?
I think they're fine.
I will take a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, which was October 10th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And signature, please. There, frosting on the right. You dipped a pen in there. All right, Emily, you are first on the agenda today.
So, hello. You all should have a form regarding the emergency notification system change that the state is going through. That is the Code Red system that people can sign up for to get alerts of various scenarios that people report to that system. The state has decided to go with a new contractor. The company's named Genesis. And so there is outreach done to emergency management directors and across the state, basically giving towns the option to opt in to the new system and agree to that new contractor, or opt out and go it alone and figure out your own emergency notification system. So I sort of made the executive decision, no, we're going to go with you guys. I didn't ask anyone, but, so you can certainly disagree with me. But they also need a new contact person. Well, not a new contact, but they're updating their contacts. And they had Tom listed. And so that is the form that needs to be completed and signed off by you all. I'm willing to be that contact person. Did reach out to some other folks in town, and they seemed pretty happy to not do it. So want to give you all the opportunity though, as well, to serve in that capacity. But that's sort of a broad overview of that. So happy to take any questions or.
No, I really appreciate the background on the situation and the decision, because I wouldn't know where else to start, and I think saying yes is a wonderful thing.
I mean, I'm just kind of, I did speak with Zachary, I forget his title, and they're in the very beginning stages of all of this. They're just trying to kind of get things poised for the turnaround. And basically, there's not only kind of the forward-facing public side to it, but then from my side, in terms of reporting any concerns, usually that's all reported to me from either Gary or Jay or Chris or something. If something is, of an importance to be able to know, to post on that system. But that would not happen. I'm not trying to think. There's no reason that would happen before already contacting the our Homeland Security Emergency Management Fee Liaison and everybody down at Homeland Security.
So that was one of the questions. Who is our current system with, and Genesis is taking over January 1? So
yes. So currently, well, I call it Code Red. I forget.
Yeah, but it's not someone that is formally formed as this.
Oh no, it's.
Sorry.
I don't have. Wait, what's that?
Unsolved?
That's it.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Yeah. So that was a former contractor.
Okay, okay. Any questions, Bob, Fred?
No, seems pretty straightforward.
In that case, I will make a motion to appoint Emily Benson as our designated primary point of contact for the New Hampshire Department of Safety Emergency Notification System.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much for all you do
Yep.
for this
Thank you.
position.
It's called Code Red.
Code Red. It's like a bad phone.
Yeah, right?
So, yeah, so I'll get that,
Yeah, I can
Can you get
I
that
can
and send it back?
complete it and send it to Zach.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna, flip over here and we're gonna do C on the Valley Crossroads Bridge updates first, so you can come and go if you want. So,
Sure. No,
glad you could make it today.
great. So, can we come up a little further?
Sure.
All right, I'll just give you a couple things to go over. One is, I'm sure Julie let you know, we're finally out to bid, believe it or not, believe it or not, so it's been advertised. And I think Monday we'll be meeting at the bridge at 10 o'clock, just meet with contractors and have questions. And then I think it's November 7th, if I remember right, it's the date.
13th.
Oh, yeah.
It said 13th.
Yeah, we have to do that.
Is it okay with selectmen to go to that?
Sure, absolutely.
Are you anticipating a crowd of contractors?
It's not mandatory, but it's encouraged, so someone, they don't have to come, but it's good to do because they'll show up usually. People that are serious will show up usually.
Are
And
we-
they'll ask good questions, so if there's something that's unclear in the documents or whatever, we can answer the question and, issue an addenda if there's anything that needs to be, or not we, but GPI can.
What was the date again?
Do, Monday, what was the date that the contractors are supposed to be there, the 30th?
The 30th,
So-
and it's 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. And are we, I guess my pointed question is, are we sure that we are going to have contractors that are going to bid on this?
Yeah, I'm quite sure. I talked to one, I had a question about where's the best spot to advertise besides the union leader.
Mhm.
And they seem interested, or in Piper, they do a lot of bridge
Okay.
projects, but I'll be amazed if you don't. I asked him about good time of year beginning, he said, perfect. I said,
Okay.
this is when we're trying to line up work for next year, and he said, that's all I'm doing right now is start to look at bids for next year. So-
Okay.
So I'll be amazed if we don't. Nobody can say for sure, but
Yeah,
I think
of course.
it's a good project.
It's an old project. Question?
Did somebody say something about something on the 7th of November also? Or
No, I sort of misspoke. It was originally, I think, going to be on the 6th or the 7th, and then we had to add a week because we didn't have 3 weeks from the time we actually got our advertisement
okay,
time, so we added a week to it.
got it.
And what is that date? It's the date that they have to submit by?
They had to submit the bid Friday.
Okay.
Plus, I think we actually had it on a Friday, and that was a holiday, so we switched it
Yeah.
to Monday too or something.
Okay.
And you'll be opening the bids that day too, right?
Yeah, so the bids will all come here,
Okay.
and then between Steve at GPI and I will open up the bids and read them aloud and see what the results are.
Have any inkling as to what we might be looking at?
No, I mean, the engineer's estimate is like, I think it's like $1.2-ish million for the bridge. 1.2, 1.3, somewhere in there. 1.2, I think it is their estimate for it. And then there's another, the project itself got bigger because there's another $344,000 in engineer's fees to do the inspections and that sort of stuff.
That seem reasonable to you?
The engineering fees?
Yeah, all of what you're hearing in terms of what
The
it is.
bids are the bids. They use DOT year-end prices. So DOT, for every unit item, they keep track of them all year long and average them out. So when they're doing the estimates, that's what DOT is seeing for prices. So that number is, it is what it is. So that's, and then on the engineering end of it, according to the state project manager there, Leah Savage, that's in line with what the kind of going rate is. Seems like an awful lot of money to me, but what do I know?
Well, we kind of hope you know.
I mean, the good part is it's all, you're paying 20%. So
Right.
softens the blow a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to say the same too if we can.
Yeah. Any other questions?
The other item is, on the engineering contracts, we need to send them a letter back or a notice back to DOT, just saying we're okay with the engineering contracts. I reviewed them multiple times and had to change things and scale things back here and there. So, but they just need a letter from Julie or the town that says they're okay with the engineering contracts, the construction and engineering contracts, the one from GPI and the one from HEB. So just taking a big step back, the way it works with DOT managed projects, federally funded projects, is they don't allow the design engineer to be the same person that inspects the project. Apparently DOT's concern is engineers can cover up some of the design mistakes
Yeah.
during
Conflict of interest there.
and, but so GPI only has a very limited role. They're going to review submittals and those sorts of things and be there to answer questions. And then HEB will be the day-to-day inspector for the project.
Do we have a template for that, or Julie, are you okay typing something up with
The contract,
the letter to the DOT?
it just needs to be as simple as
So
Yeah,
one-liner.
I'll email Leah, yeah, that's
Okay.
what we did with the first letter, so, yeah.
Okay,
Who signs it?
we sign it, or you
All
sign it?
three?
No,
or
it's
someone
just
from
an
the board?
email.
She
Oh, okay.
for the
Yeah.
project portion of it, she just
Okay.
wrote a
Yeah.
one-line email and said, we're good with it.
Mhm.
And they said, you got it. So,
Okay.
Perfect. Anything else there?
That's it, unless you have any questions on
Any
anything else,
questions?
fire station or anything
No.
else.
I think we just want to make sure moving forward, we're not missing a role we need to play so
Yeah.
that things don't get held up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think generally speaking, everybody thinks we're really behind here needed for next year. You were trying to bid for start work this year.
Right.
It's not. I mean, there are some timing elements in there where I think the work, any tree cutting has to be done before like
Mm.
April 4th or something like that. And then any in-water work has to start like after April 8th. And it's just because of long-eared bats, I think it is, for the tree cutting and fish habitat for the other ones. So there's a little window in there. We have to make sure that they get going and get it cleared before April 4th, otherwise it's
Yeah.
parked until the end of the summer. you know?
Okay,
That river will be roaring usually
yeah,
that
that time of year,
Right.
yeah.
Especially with some rains.
So thank you for the updates on this. I do have one more different topic question. Have you heard anything or been involved at all in the Eagle Mountain House culvert drainage issue? It's an old one, but the owner down on Ridge Road was asking about, you know, what was being done, and I haven't heard any updates, Gary. And I know Kevin actually, not Gary, Kevin Bennett had talked to them and not gotten any updates at all on the status of their project to,
I haven't heard anything of late. I mean, I did look at it once with Kevin a long time ago.
yeah.
And then DOT was involved too, which was good because it's crossing the road, so I saw what was going on. It was-
I think that it's not been resolved or attended to at all.
A little bit has been done. According to Kevin, he said that they did put some barriers to catch some of the silt or whatever, but
Yeah.
not saying it was done, but the DOT gave a middle of October to have some kind of plan or what more needs to be done, engineering. You haven't heard anything from any?
I have not, I can check in, I'll check in with Kevin, but I mean, usually that's
I'm
because,
sorry.
We did receive a letter from DOT about that project, but I just haven't scanned it or sent it to you yet.
Okay.
I mean, I can grab
A
it.
Yeah.
recent, a more
It's
recent
several,
one?
it's several pages,
If we could just,
yeah.
let's get it on the agenda for the
Mhm.
next meeting. If you could touch base with
Yeah.
Kevin and Julie about the letter and just, I don't want it to go any further because the owner of the property that this is possibly affecting
Yeah.
is concerned, and I just want to, I don't want to leave it out there hanging,
no,
so,
I don't blame them at all. I mean,
if you don't mind.
it's been a problem for a long time and they've been made aware of it for a long time.
Right, and now it's the winter, so, yeah, if you could touch base then, and then we'll put it on the agenda for a follow-up at the next meeting.
We just don't want them to think because it's winter, they don't have to do anything. 'cause
Absolutely,
When spring comes.
just
it'll
makes
be
it a little
mess.
tougher. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right, thanks, Bert,
All right.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks,
And
Bert.
thanks, Julie, for that. All right, we're gonna pop back up to the salt shed update.
Yeah, I asked Gary not to come today because there'll be plenty of time to talk about this, but he was a little bit surprised to find that it's gonna cost $390,000 to put this cover over our sand and salt sheds. It started at $200,000 a couple of years ago and it's reached $390,000, but I think the board has already kind of had a vote on this to say that this is something we should be moving ahead on, that we want to, we regard it as a necessity, that it would make life a lot easier for the highway department for sure, and for any other future workers there, and I think that's important, that our employees have the best conditions to work under, and to have the sand and the salt and all that under a roof is a good thing, as most towns in the state of New Hampshire where there's snow have. So, but the price is escalated,
Right.
and it is where it is, and so that's something we're gonna have to grapple with. But it would be nice, I would hope that this is something we could get built for them for next winter. I don't see what that is.
Yeah,
At least that's my opinion.
I don't remember us having a vote on approving it. I know we talked about it and we thought we would put it
Go in the right
to
direction.
the, yeah,
Right.
and put it to the, because of the cost,
Yeah,
obviously.
right.
Put it to the town,
Mhm.
whether it be on a warrant article
Yeah.
or part of our
Right.
capital improvement
Uh-huh,
plans or whatever, so. And
No,
then.
that's what I think I meant, that
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna be going forward with it.
But the other thing is that on the capital improvement plan with the planning board?
We're gonna need this.
We have meeting
Yeah,
Thursday,
right.
Thursday evening, so
Yeah.
if not, then we'll have the updates for that
Right.
at that meeting too, so.
And I know Jerry Dougherty gave some updates too at the last planning board meeting. I was reading the minutes there,
Mhm.
talk about this, so
Okay,
it's one of the many things we have to do.
right, and if we're, if we do put forth an ask, that would be a big part of it too.
Right, right.
Do you know if the planning board reps got this updated number? Because they have a spreadsheet.
I'm not-
they're
I don't
keeping
think-
track of.
I don't think they did.
I'll show.
All right, I think they're still at the 300,000 level, not the almost 400,000. It all happened just today. Julie, did you just hear it today from Gary about the 390?
Yes.
It was just
Yeah.
today, so probably they're running an update.
I can,
We got that
I
estimate
can
from?
update that, I have connections.
Who's the quote from, on that piece of paper? Is that Coleman?
Coleman, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Coleman, yeah.
I know,
And
I
I-
know someone else that's North Conway that sells those things.
Say
I'm
that
sorry?
again?
I know someone else, this is like one of those canvas
Yes.
covers. Yeah, I know a guy, Ryan Burke, he used to work with me many years ago that sells those coveralls too. I think coverall,
I don't know
think
if
is
it's
the brand.
canvas.
No, I don't,
Is
It's
it
some sort of
the same?
canvas, or
It's a
plastic, it's
tar-
got
right.
an aluminum frame plus
Yeah.
some sort of fabric. over it.
well, okay, because I know Gary had talked to a bunch
I
of.
don't know what they're
Yeah.
getting the quote on, if it's rigid.
Can I just
Julie
do
just
that?
said- But I know Gary talked to a number of contractors, and really Coleman was the only one that come forward to say we can do this.
Tarp-Rite Inc., so.
So it is
must be
tarp,
a
he said.
Yeah,
But
those
you
are
do
company-
know of somebody else.
I do, yeah, the guy in North Conway that sells coverall, I think is the brand they sell, and they do all sorts of work facilities and those things too, that I could, if you wanted another number or something like that.
Does
Well,
that mean it's seasonal, a tarp, or does it?
No, no,
tarp
it stays up
stays out
permanently.
year round?
You see those almost,
Yeah,
I don't say quants, but it's a
Okay.
structure
Yeah,
with
yeah.
usually a metal frame and there's a fabric stretched over it. And
mhm,
usually when you buy the fabrics, you get like gold, silver, and bronze, like different, like long lifespan to the fabric itself
Yeah.
or whatever. so.
Barbara, do you think we should have him contact Gary
Yeah, I
in
would.
particular? Because Gary, I'm sure, I don't think Gary's spoken to that.
no, and I would love to
I'll
have,
have
You know,
to
because
Gary
he's
call
tried
if you
with
want.
them.
I'll get a hold of him, have him give Gary a call.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
that'd
be,
be
Gary
great.
wants, he can not, he can
yeah, that would be
not
terrific.
finish call it.
Yep.
But
that would be
you,
great.
it's somebody
And
you
this is
trust.
the same.
Yeah, I
so-
worked with a guy years ago.
Oh, that's
Great,
great.
yeah, thanks, Bill.
All right.
Okay, and,
No,
yeah, we'll at
that's
least throw
cool.
a number in there that's more current
Yeah,
for the
That's
planning
great.
board meeting.
yeah, terrific.
All right. It's expensive salt, right? Expensive labor. All right, Chief Burley,
Yes,
police cruiser.
yes. Well, update on the police cruiser. Our 2016 has given up the ghost. It did yeoman's duty, but it has over 125,000 miles in road miles. I checked the idle hours as well. So the road miles of 126,000 and some change was about 5,400 road miles, but we also have 6,200 idle hours. So, if idle hours are about the equivalent of driving hours, idle hours are about it's like the equivalent engine wear going 30 miles an hour. The car exceeds 200,000 miles. For an emergency vehicle, that's very risky. We also had, it did not pass inspection. It needed over $1,000 of repairs. And we have an electrical problem with the lights that were installed. They weren't installed by OMA. We don't know who the installer was. There's no records of it. And they were randomly coming on when you wouldn't even have the vehicle on. That's a problem. So it's really done all it can do. So I've got a bottom line quote with Crest for a Dodge Durango police vehicle at 46,307. We will be able to cannibalize equipment from the truck, particularly the radio, which is a $5,000 expense that we can recoup by using it because it'll fit. And I think a substantial amount of other equipment might fit as well, even though it's a different platform. So in capital reserve, we have 55 and some change, so we're 9 over the bid cost. And again, as I said in the email, timing is critical. The window for ordering police vehicles, I don't know if it's the same for fire, has shrunk to weeks, not months, and availability has shrunk. You can't buy the special service pickup trucks anymore. That's why I'm going with the Dodge Durango. You can't buy the Dodge Ram special service vehicle anymore. It's really become quite a challenge. So timing's critical because it's still a 6-month out delay. We really wouldn't have delivery for probably after town meeting in 2024. So the bid is from Crest. They've traditionally been the lowest bid anyway, and the service is excellent, and they always prioritize us when we need something to be done. And it's in our wheelhouse, kind of our route when we have to go to court and other things in North Conway. So it's really, full-throated endorsement of going with the Crest bid. And he traditionally makes little to nothing on the police service vehicles anyway. So that's the nature of it. It's not going to be a take-home car. If we're fortunate enough to pick up a third officer, that vehicle will stay here, and also becomes the spare car. Right now, we have 2 officers and 2 vehicles. If there was a problem with a vehicle, we're down to 2 officers and 1 vehicle. So it'll be touch and go anyway until we receive delivery. But that's the nature of emergency services now, especially with equipment, union strikes and the like. So I would ask that you consider that. And also, I don't know if you have to vote on it because the money is in capital reserve, but I certainly would like the board's endorsement.
Is there any salvage value on the old one when we're done with it?
Yeah, there could be.
3,000 you said,
I think once we get the equipment off of it, it's not insurmountable repairs. It's sway bars. It's a manifold, a left side manifold, exhaust manifold. And then, of course, so that's about $1,200 worth of equipment. But the lights is a problem because it's a really odd market package. It's not a Wayland. It's not a Federal Signal. I don't really know where they got it or why they got it, but it's just not a great light package. And now it's malfunctioning, so. That we won't get any salvage value out of that. But the vehicle, you put up the bid, if you could recoup $3,000.
Well, I'm thinking, is there any interest in donating it to the school or any tech institute or something for a vehicle? I mean, I'm just.
You could, I think in the open market, you'd probably get a $3,000, sealed bid for it. Somebody maybe somebody who works on cars, and they would save the labor money. So you might want to recoup it that way, and or an in-kind gesture, and it gets donated. We had pretty good luck with the Chevy signing it to Kevin, and that had several thousands of dollars of repairs. But he has very low demand on it, so it's not an emergency services vehicle. But and again, the disposition of the old vehicles entirely your purview, and I support it. However you want to do it. It served its purpose with. It's an 8 years of service out of an emergency vehicle. You got every penny out of it, so what happens from there on in is fine by me.
Questions?
No, I would just say though that sealed bids seems to make sense at this point. I mean, every dollar we save the town is important to recognize.
It'll be some time. We've stored it down in Gray's Inn, so it's out of the elements. We're exercising the engine, once every couple of weeks, but we won't be able to put it out for bid until it gets cannibalized because we'd have no place to put the equipment. That'd be
the spring anyway.
Yeah.
So would the funds be spent this calendar year?
No.
Now, if we approved but it's in your,
Oh, yeah,
It's
we
in your
already,
fund.
yeah, we're
It's
nine
already
thousand
in your
over,
fund.
we're 9,000 over in just capital reserve for the
Okay.
vehicle. And, presumably, we would get another 15.5, which is the standard, contribution to the capital reserve.
okay.
So we're in a really good place. Mike's cruiser has about 50,000, is that right, Mike? 40 something?
49.
Yeah, 49. And mine's at almost 17. So I may rotate, we may rotate mine to Mike, and then the one with 40 goes, as the spare, or to a, patrol officer's vehicle, so that we can start to balance the mileage a little bit. That Mike's cruiser was doing double duty.
Yeah.
They were hot bunking that car. Day shift would use it, and then night crew would use it. So that's kind of why it's got the double mileage. So we've got a plan there to kind of manage the lifespan of the vehicles. If you maintain them well, you can get, 125,000 miles out of the vehicles. But they are emergency services. I want the officers to be completely safe and confident driving it, and anybody that's in the car be completely safe as well. Because when somebody calls for help, you got to get there. That's the first goal.
Yeah. Sounds logical to me. Good. I don't think we have to vote on it then, like you said, we just,
Yeah,
For it.
We're all for it.
we won't be writing any checks till 2024.
great.
I certainly do endorse the new
The
purchase.
Yeah,
Thank you.
got your money's worth.
Okay.
All right, budget hearings is next. I just wanted to ask if you two think that after we talk with the planning board, if we think it would be viable to have 3 budget meetings versus 2. And I know we have a couple of larger items that are going to be on the budget, like the ambulance that they're proposing to purchase. So that's something that we started saving for last year, but we really don't have a capital reserve fund that's large enough for an ambulance. We also have some new requests probably for the library and other town-owned buildings that I think we're gonna have to discuss. And I just wonder if it would be worth it to have a jump start on budget hearings. Maybe not as formal as going line by line, but maybe having some higher level discussions on adding bigger numbers.
Are you thinking about splitting it up and having one focus on these warrant articles? Are you talking about
Yeah.
3 that are all focused on, that include a focus on an operational budget, or you just kind of?
Normally what we do is the first one is on the operational budget and the second one is on the warrant articles.
Right.
But I'm thinking we have one prior to those 2 meetings talking about either establishing a new capital reserve fund for town-owned buildings. Also, what we're looking at possibilities based on what the capital improvement plan shows for just the whole town. I mean, is it going to be 390,000? Is it going to be $4 million? Is it going to be $7 million? And just having that big discussion. And again, I want to stress how important it is that I want the taxpayers and the voters to come here and listen to these and be as available as possible. I think 3 meetings gives a little bit more opportunity in that way. And if people can't make it, they'll be able to watch the videos. So when it comes time to vote, folks can have as much information as possible. And I'm just really, really pushing for that this year, for participation, so town meeting isn't such a surprise to people. So that's just my thoughts on it. We have a lot going on.
Do you have a time range where you want all 3 of them between?
I know we usually do January and February, so I was thinking sometime in December, but it's already almost November 1st. So, and we have our budget hearing for the ambulance on, I believe it was December 20th, I believe. So probably sometime, I don't know, maybe after the first of the year, now that I'm looking at the calendar, because Christmas falls on a Monday, so that last week of the year is pretty much, I think we should kind of keep meetings off of that. So if we have the ambulance meeting on the 20th, I'm thinking maybe 2 in January, 1 in February. And Julie has provided the calendar for, like all the official state calendar for town meetings and stuff. So when we start looking at January, January 11th is the last day to post and publish notice for first hearing on proposed adoption or amendment of zoning ordinance, blah, blah. So you start looking at January 11th, 12th, 13th, 16th, all of these deadlines start coming up, and I just don't want to be caught behind the 8 ball. I'm trying to get information to the public.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking capital improvement plan, findings, and then operational budget and warrant articles.
Do you want to do it on the heels of our regular selectmen meeting?
Yeah.
On Tuesdays?
Yeah.
So we do our regular meeting and
Yeah.
then go right into the public hearing?
Yeah.
Well, we've done that in the
That
past.
would, yeah, that's my thought, not to have a separate day or anything like that. I just feel like
Yeah.
the more information we can have discussed, and maybe these are gonna go fast, maybe they're gonna be well-attended or not, but I think the more we can put on the table.
Right.
And then the other thing is, if we have one big one at the beginning about the capital improvements and some of the larger dollar and ticket items, then when it comes to that third hearing, we may have a lot of questions answered. We may have a lot of input from taxpayers and voters that say, you know, the likelihood of this happening, or what about this question or that question. We may have some better information for them coming the third meeting.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Well, we normally have 2 meetings, and
Yeah.
I think we should, the idea of 3 is great, but maybe after 2 meetings, we might find out that we don't need the third. I
Yeah.
suppose it could happen, but otherwise, I'm with it. Fine.
So our meetings would be January 9th, 23rd, and February 13th. So,
I think, isn't it the 6th? Because that's the last day for petitioned. If we
oh,
get- if we
so
get-
February 6th.
Yeah, if we
So it
get
would be
petition
January 9th,
articles, we have to. hold
January
hearing.
23rd, and February 6th.
So you've got the 9th focused on the capital improvement plan, the
Mhm.
2nd primarily focused on, or January 23rd
23rd.
primarily on the second topic,
Operating
which is
budget.
the operating budget.
Mhm.
And then February 6th would be focused on warrant
Warrant
articles.
articles.
Go ahead.
Is that pushing the envelope on having it on the 6th
A
then?
little bit.
Yeah.
We've got a
So,
capital improvement plan this Thursday.
Yeah.
So maybe if we can all have that, at that joint working session, a conversation about that. I mean, I think at some point there needs to be some prioritization to all of those capital improvement list items.
So what if
And
we,
even
I'm sorry.
a bit of a timeline connected to things that we see as
So-
needing to have some structure to them. I know you got a hand up over there, Fire Chief.
okay, Jay?
Not to be a bad guy, but don't forget you could possibly have a bond hearing in between
yeah,
there.
Yeah,
gonna mention
so,
that.
yeah, and I'm thinking, looking at calendar, and I'm thinking maybe we do need to have one of the first meetings in
I
December,
think so.
and then have our January 9th and 23rd meetings for our regular budget meetings. That would be the operating budget and the warrants, so not going into February. And yes, so if we did a meeting in December, and we don't have to set that date today then, why don't we have our meeting on Thursday with the planning board and figure out a time in December when they'll be able to finalize and
What's the timetable on a bond hearing?
on hearing.
And
I think it's January 11th. I think I
And
highlighted
12th, first day to hold public hearing on bond or note issues
January
is
12th.
Friday, January 12th.
I think the December meeting would be good for
Yeah.
just warrant articles.
Yeah.
we'll have them all
And
by
then-
December?
And then,
We'll have-
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we should.
And so we could look at the 19th is not, well, I think we might have to change our select board meetings. Do we want to have one on December 26th? Probably
I think
not.
the select board meetings
So-
are fluid if we're trying
Yeah.
to throw 3
Budget.
budget-related public hearings into the mix.
So if we did the 19th, which is a Tuesday, tends to work for all of us,
Yeah.
December 19th.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we could have that for the capital improvement plan. The 9th would be operating budget, and the 23rd would be warrant articles, and January 14th would be first day to, I'm sorry, January 12th would be the first day to hold public hearing on bonds. So just keeping that deadline open. All right. And I can just shoot out some calendar, an email. Obviously, we'll have the minutes, but if I could do an email that just puts those dates down, Julie, and you can disseminate that.
Great.
Okay, yeah.
January 12th is
I already
the
have
first
like
day
three
for the
different-
bond. That's a
January
Friday.
4th, no, January, yes. Oh, no, something's wrong here. I'm not looking at this right. January 12th is a Friday, yes.
Yeah, and that's the first day to have a bond
Bond
hearing.
hearing,
And that's typically not a day we do tons of business.
right.
But
It
the
doesn't have to
following-
be, I think does it have to be on that date? I think you can have it like on the
That's the first.
16th.
Yes,
You're right,
that's
that's
the,
what I'm
yeah,
looking at right
okay.
now, is
Yeah.
if we did it on the 16th, then I think there probably needs to be an assessment of our regular meetings in January and how important they are to hold. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't want to wait until the 23rd
No.
for
No.
that. So if you had the bond hearing on the 16th, if necessary, then is that, and that's not something we consider one of these 3 budget
Correct.
hearings that you're proposing.
that's correct.
What's the cutoff date of submitting warrant articles?
I have to look at the calendar.
Hold on, let me see if
I
can
wasn't
find it.
thinking that all the warrant articles would be prepared and in and ready for a budget hearing connected with them in December, but I guess I'm
Right.
wrong on that.
No, I thought,
Well, I mean, they should be in by
Okay.
then.
All right.
You know.
I remember some discussion with Julie, she wanted, the other Julie,
Yeah,
that she wanted warrant articles, like a written warrant article that was gonna be proposed to be done in November.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
my discussion with her.
yeah.
yeah, I'm trying, I don't see
No,
a copy of
she
it.
had mentioned doing just a warrant article hearing, budget hearing for December, like the end of December.
Rather than the other Julie, maybe she should be old Julie now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Julie.
And you're young,
Just
She's my mini.
I don't think she was referring to
old and gone to Blue Hill, maybe.
No comment.
Alright, she's yelled at me
Julie won.
before, she can yell at me again.
All right, so let's put January 16th as a date for bond hearing, because I think, like you said, that makes sense. The 12th is the first day, that's a Friday, that 16th can be a select board meeting in January with a bond hearing. And then we'll kind of go TBD on the rest.
On the rest. But the first one we'll want to lock in, it would
December.
probably be a warrant hearing.
And that would be December 19th,
December 19th.
which is a Tuesday. And that happens to be the 3rd Tuesday of December, but the 26th is the 4th. So I think we would have a select meeting that day as well.
On the 19th?
Yeah, because the 26th, we don't want to have one. Christmas hangovers and visits. All right, so December 19th, select meeting and warrant article discussions and, not warrant article, capital improvement plan. January 9th, select meeting and operations budget. January 16th, bond hearing. And January 23rd would be the meeting for our warrant articles, the third budget meeting. Go ahead, put this down and write.
Yeah, write it all down.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
Yeah,
Are we feeling like these dates make sense, or are we deciding on them now, or
Yes.
you want them in writing next week, next meeting to vote on, or
Um,
how do you,
Let's put
what are
them,
you thinking?
I'm thinking I will put these down on paper so we can look at the calendar, make sure logically they look all right, and also that we can all make it.
Yep.
And also after Thursday's meeting, that it makes sense.
Mhm.
And then we can vote on the calendar at the next meeting,
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, that was great.
okay?
Mhm.
Don't have to read the minutes back to
Yes.
see what we all said.
You see what my score
No, I think
is.
that's good to nail these down now. so.
Absolutely.
All right, any questions or anything, Julie? You're good with this so far?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, Jackson Turkey Trot. Is someone here to talk about the turkey trot?
Yes.
Yes, it'll be quick.
No problem.
Yeah, so I had to bring this up for the meeting, sort of on short notice. This was brought up to me by a couple people inquiring about hosting a turkey trot, something that we could do on Thanksgiving morning. I participated in other turkey trots. Madison used to have one. I know Freedom still has one. And this is working with Kathleen Maynard with the Jackson Grammar School. She's looking for a fundraiser for a Girls on the Run program. And so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to utilize my business, Run the Whites, to help host everything, and then have her involved to sort of be the liaison with Jackson Grammar School. And then on top of that, have the Jackson Touring Center involved, and then for a location, we're proposing the Eagle Mountain House stage as the staging area. And so I've already spoken with them and had their approval. I need a couple landowners' approvals, but it's looking good. And then the course that we came up with would start on the Jackson Falls Bridge, which would allow parking from either, I'd expect, the Eagle Mountain House, but also people could walk up from Jackson Falls, or there's some parking at the Nordic entrance on Valley Cross Road. So the course would go from the bridge up Valley Cross, jump onto the Nordic trails, utilize the Nordic trails, pop out on the golf course, loop around and end there. So as far as the town's concerned, I guess it would just be the use of Valley Cross, and it would just be maybe 5 minutes, plus the staging, I guess, the start of it. I'm expecting 50 to 80 participants, probably, depending how much notice we get to gain interest. And I think that's about it.
Question for Chief Burley. On the other run that we have in town, you provide some support on that for traffic control. Is there any need on this?
I think there is, but I don't think it's a heavy lift, and it's not nearly the same level of effort as the Bridge 10K, because the Bridge 10K stays on public roads the entire time.
Right.
I eyeballed the area today, actually, and it's a low volume road. It's mostly just cross traffic, people trying to get around and see the falls. That time of year, and Thanksgiving morning, probably even lower. I think we can pre-stage some police barricades on the falls side. Andrew, are you envisioning them starting on the other side of the bridge, or on the bridge, or on the tennis court side of the bridge?
I would think on the bridge is fine.
On the bridge, okay. So barricades on the falls side, and maybe he has some volunteer road guards, probably just one station there. I looked at my schedule when I saw this was on the agenda. I'll be working Thanksgiving Day, so I can block the high side by the Nordic lot. And the only time they're really on a public road, as I understand it, is
5 minutes.
probably, not even, probably a minute. So as they take off and they go into the woods proper, up in the wave in the field, I can just go down and take care of the barricades, and then just be in the area in case somebody's hurt or something like that. So I don't think it requires a special duty assignment, because it's not going to be that much of a commitment. It doesn't require a 2-officer road closure, because I think the barricades on the fall side and on the other side will be sufficient. And it doesn't sound like a huge complication. The only X factor is you could have some leakage on the road from the residents, because there are a couple of residents in that one little road. I can't think of the name of it. It's a private drive, but it's a couple of houses. So, you might not know, and all of a sudden somebody's come out of their driveway in the middle of a race, but it's a pretty short span.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm
And you're going to be
concerned,
contacting the folks that are along the route anyway?
If we need to.
well, there are a couple of houses there. There's at least 3 between the bridge and the Nordic
Right.
parking. So even just a flyer in a mailbox or something, you don't have to ask their permission to use the road,
Right.
just so they don't, if they're pulling out of the driveway. And I would have a line of sight anyway on those houses, but, and hopefully we get to them, as long as
Yeah.
we're communicating like the bridge is gonna go.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't see a public safety issue from my perspective.
Burr, you think the bridge is gonna hold out?
So I just note the pedestrian walkway has been closed for quite a while.
Right.
Right.
The road has no like pedestrian guardrail to keep somebody from pitching off of it.
Right.
It's just got the trusses, which is the thing, so
Yep.
if there were gonna be a lot of kids or something like that,
Yeah.
and they're mulling around the bridge or whatever to start with, there's no railing to keep them from going off the bridge, so you might wanna put construction fence across the bridge temporarily for the.
Do you think that would be a good idea anyway? Like,
I mean, if they're
Yeah.
not mulling around and
I
just
mean,
running
just
through
for-
it, it's not a big deal, but if
Yeah.
everybody's hanging out on the bridge waiting to go or something.
but I mean,
like
I've
that.
seen people on the bridge for the past 3 weeks,
Yeah.
standing all over the edges.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, do you
I
think
would-
it would be a good permanent decision to put that up, or we don't? Can't fix some people's intentions, I guess, but I don't want
May
kids
fit.
falling in on Thanksgiving,
It's been
Yeah.
a bunch of years without an issue so far, not saying
Okay.
that something could happen tomorrow, but if you had an event where there's a bunch of people
Yeah.
clustered there, especially kids or something like that, it might be worthwhile. to put it.
yeah. Andrew, do you have any just thoughts
No,
on that?
the pedestrian walkway, as long as it's closed,
Yeah.
it'll be pretty clear that's closed,
Yeah.
because in order to fit everyone on that bridge, they'll be in
Yeah.
the drive-thru. And there is a kids fun run aspect to this, it'll
Okay.
be happening at 9 AM, but
So-
that's all in the fields.
So the kid fun run starts before, and
Yeah,
there's
so
a
people can walk.
5K at 9:30.
Yeah, so people could watch the kids run, it's gonna be about half mile or a kilometer. They
Is
have-
it gonna be on the golf course?
They're gonna run to a turnaround point, pick up a small gourd and run it back. And that's gonna be pretty entertaining.
And is that gonna be on the golf course?
Yes, that's gonna be on the golf course.
Okay. Snow plans?
There'll be-
Dress
Well,
accordingly.
there will be a plan B if, there'll be some potential alterations to the route if there's snow. Because I'm sure they won't want us.
Yeah.
Pretty
Transit.
informal?
Wouldn't-
Is this
wouldn't be a
gonna
bad-
Measured and sanctioned, or?
We'll see. The USATF plan.
Andrew, are you envisioning the staging and start on the fall side of the bridge and then they run across the bridge and off they go? Or
I
start
think it just
on the
start,
bridge?
just start on the bridge. I
Yeah.
don't think it's as
Formal,
dramatic as the covered bridge 10K.
gotcha.
Sounds terrific.
Great,
Good idea.
sounds like
Okay.
fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
All right. Trustees of the trust funds withdrawal. The Board of Selectmen are requesting the following withdrawal from the trust funds as indicated below. $900 from the Wentworth Wildcat Fund, number 0029, invoice number 521 for $900 dated October 17th, 2023, to pay Ben Halcyon a reimbursement for purchasing 8 cedar posts for Jackson Falls from Jocelyn Sawmill Incorporated, invoice number 21-0873. I'll take a motion to approve this
So moved.
withdrawal.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Thank you. I was gonna tease Chief, asking him if the turkey was actually trotting there, if he would go chase it, because he's so good with animal recovery.
Yeah.
All right, pending items, fire station discussion. Bob, any updates?
Yeah, we've got our informational video wrapped up, and we'll be able to share that Thursday night. And right now we've got the video in a video format. It hasn't been sharpened, which takes a little bit of time, but the narration is done. It's Tim Scott, Emily Benson, and the rest of the PowerPoint panels are right along the lines of the ones you guys have been looking at, so
Mhm.
that's pretty much done. And so as far as a public informational night, Jay and I have been talking about that in some of our liaison time together, and thinking that that would also be a good idea to schedule and get the word out to people who wanted to know as much as they could about the options out there so they could make an informed decision. And thinking actually about holding that in the firehouse one night.
Yeah, there was just discussion about having a public meeting where all 3 selectmen, I guess, were there. So that's really public meeting with everybody.
Right.
And we're thinking about that before Thanksgiving. Right?
Yeah.
We were actually
We
thinking,
talked, you and I at least talked about maybe the 16th.
yeah, which is a Thursday night, which I've got kind of earmarked on my calendar to start around 6:30, something like that. Public informational night at the firehouse, take some chairs down, set up some chairs, give people another firsthand look. I mean, you guys have definitely reached out for the last 2 months to provide open house experiences for people so they could get a firsthand look. And so it just, along the same lines, made a lot of sense to do the same thing as far as having it at the firehouse. But the difference would be, this would be a formal posted public information night with all 3 select board members there.
Just Thursday nights, you think, there's only a few coming up, so if we want to pick one.
Yeah, Thursday the 16th of November was what we
Yeah.
felt was far enough out and yet squeezed in before Thanksgiving.
How's that sound for you so
I
far?
think 11/6
Works for me.
No planning board meetings or...
Nope, that's the 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Planning board meeting.
Question I got on, is this a meeting that you guys are gonna run as selectmen? Or is this a meeting that we would run as fire department? Just thinking of who moderates or who
Yeah,
does that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Who's running it?
well,
Which doesn't matter to me, I'm just curious.
In my opinion, it should not be run by the fire department, because, and the reason why is because this is not your show.
Yeah.
It's the show of the selectmen to
No, I agree.
talk about what the intent is. Do you want to do nothing? Do you want to do a renovation, or do you want to build a new firehouse? And I think that that's something that we all should be better in charge of. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay.
right, and no,
I only ask because I wanted to make sure that if we needed to like find somebody to moderate it or something like that, then we...
I mean, I hope Tim and whoever else wants to be there that can help sort of show things would be great. And again, it's different than the Tuesday mornings that you guys have had for the open houses. It's more formal, like you said, but I think it's a great opportunity. So November 16th.
yeah, and I think that we'll be more than ready by that point to stand up and represent our views.
Great.
Will this be up in the lounge, up top?
No, in between the trucks downstairs. That was my thought, is to have it over there. If you don't want to have it over there, then we could not have it there. But my idea was, if you're gonna have a public meeting, why not have it?
I think at the fire station
Yeah,
would be great. Yeah.
Sure.
Move the trucks out.
Yep, we've got chairs we can get over, and I think right in there in one of the bays. It's hard to say what we'll need for capacity, but we'll be positioned.
Oh, it's not an issue.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you want that in the form of a formal motion, or?
Yeah, let's make a motion to set a meeting on November 16th at 5:30 at the fire station for a public information hearing.
Or was it 6:30?
Oh,
It was at
sorry.
6:30.
6:30. Meeting
Yeah.
at 6:30,
Yeah.
November 16th at 6:30.
Yeah, so I'll make the motion that we schedule a public informational hearing for the purpose of educating people on fire station options that we're going to be proposing. And 6:30 on Thursday, November 16th at the fire station.
I will second that. All in favor?
All right?
I thought you kind of went like this, so I was like,
So does one of you just do minutes on that, or do we have to have somebody else there for minutes,
since
or
it's
how does that
gonna
work?
I think we should have Hank there,
Yeah.
and Hank's video will
Good
always
job.
serve as
Yeah.
minutes for the recap on that.
Yeah.
And that'll be perfect. You gonna be there, Hank?
Yes, I'll be there.
6:30, all
be
right?
fantastic.
All right.
Come early.
Okay.
You're the chair, so
Yep.
you'll run the meeting,
Yep.
and we'll kind of figure out some sort of an agenda to put together so that everybody feels like what they want to have discussed and the important topics to them are represented in the meeting.
Sounds good.
Good. All right.
I got a question, and maybe I missed it, but so what's the thoughts on if we write a warrant article for this, like as far as timing wise?
I think the question might be a little preemptive.
I mean, I know it's early, but
Yeah.
that's kind of my question is, I mean, it isn't early, we're almost into November.
I know.
So, and I know Julie had said to me, you know, we've got to talk about warrant article writing early November. Now, maybe that was just her for the way she did
No,
things,
I
but
mean, do you
um,
do you want to answer that as far as like what your timing would be preferred? I mean, you
Well,
have a lot on your plate.
because it was a
Yeah.
bond and things
Yeah.
like
Well,
that.
yeah, it should be, I think, in December to do the warrant article hearings.
So
But
that's
but
not
you
that
can
far
put
away.
January, yeah.
I brought it up because it's,
Well, it's a good
Well-
topic, and I think we also need to
Yeah.
figure out what we want that warrant article to say and how specific it should be worded. And so there's that discussion also
Yeah.
that we've talked about that, kind of needs to be worked out.
Maybe start formulating some
so maybe
verbiage
after the
on
public
some.
meeting on the 16th, maybe a work session, one of the
Yeah,
selectmen meetings to discuss what that may say.
yeah,
or-
and do some research on previous towns that have had warrant
Does that make
articles
sense?
for
Yeah,
fire stations or capital improvements or whatever, and just start putting it together so we can have a template to work off of come late November, early December.
That sounds good.
All right?
And I mean, Ritchie Construction, they've always referred to some of their more recent projects. I think they're doing one over in Maine right now, but they did Twin Mountain and they did Sugar Hill. And it would be nice if we could research what those warrant articles look like
Yeah.
for us to have some sort of a sense of a template of how we want ours to look. Maybe it'll look different, but at the same time, if they've been vetted through their town council, then we've got a starting point.
yeah.
I know my experience in that, in looking at some, they're pretty drastically different everywhere.
Yeah.
At least gets the conversation started, though. I mean,
I know when I looked up, a month ago, I looked up the highway department warrant article,
Mhm.
building, bond, and it was pretty basic,
good.
pretty simple.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking, is how complicated does it have to be, really? It's more based on what we want to put forward as our
Well, do
recommendation.
you need location? I
There
mean,
was
have
a
you
little
guys-
bit of discussion about that today.
Yeah.
The highway department one was very simple. If you get too complicated, then it gets specific to, this is the intent of the warrant article,
Mhm.
and you can't like
Change.
deviate.
Mhm.
Whereas you could deviate a little bit depending on how the discussion at town meeting goes, if it's simpler. I don't know if that is good or bad, either way, however you want to look at it, but it you know,
Let's start with looking at some templates, and if I need some education what previous ones have looked like. There's some, I guess,
Sounds
some
good.
context.
Maybe if we get those by next meeting, we
Yeah.
can throw
Yeah, we
that
can get
into
those.
the fire station discussion.
Mhm.
I just wanted to add
Yeah.
one more thing. Just in terms of things coming up, we've done 8 open houses to date. We've got 2 more next week, the 31st to Halloween. Congresswoman Custer was supposed to come because of things going in the world in DC. Most likely she will not be able to attend, but her outreach coordinator, Stephanie Weiner, is going to be coming. I kind of pegged her, suggested she come around 10:30. It would be great if all of you or some of you could be able to be there.
On the 31st?
Yep, Halloween. Any time between 9 and noon, but I'm kind of hoping she's gonna come around 10:30. Just kind of as in,
One of my goals for that meeting was to be able to ask them face to face in that location, you know, questions, things on grants and why, how come, things like that.
there's fire construction grant legislation that is in the process of being brought through Congress, but everything is
Right.
totally delayed. So, which, you know, that's what I want to ask. When this passes, is it something that we've gone, hopefully, when it passes, because it does seem to have bipartisan support, if we get a bond, you know, could we then suddenly
Yeah.
still have access to some, you know, be awarded some funding that we could pay off a bond and any early, you know, penalties, so. And then we do have scheduled a Saturday morning on November 4th, because that was something that we heard for folks. You know, we've got the evening now on the November 16th,
Right.
but we also have November 4th. So I continue to push this out every week through e-news. So if you have the wording for the public hearing, just talking with somebody who was with us for a large chunk of the morning, it seems like people are kind of trained to see, you know, fire station, you know, looking at that and looking for information, so I
Okay.
can add that in.
Now, I got a question.
You might want to put it in the newspaper too, post the hearing
Yeah.
in the newspaper.
Does it
That-
not have to be, I mean, if you're
It-
inviting all 3 selectmen and we were to show up, should we post it?
Well,
Okay.
There should be a whole article.
it's a hearing, so you want the public to weigh in on, is that right?
On
No, it's-
November
On-
16th?
Yeah.
But what about,
She's talking the other thing.
about
sorry.
Tuesday next
Oh,
week?
no.
Okay, informal.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you
I-
know, I know.
Okay.
I may be totally
I thought the
wrong,
November
but I would think
Yeah.
the 3 of you could go to it and just can't talk
Me,
to each other type of thing, is that?
you over there.
Oh,
If the
right.
3 of them are gonna be, it has to be posted. It has to be posted in 2
Oh.
public places.
Well,
The
that's
same
easy enough
thing,
to
if you
do.
guys are gonna go to the bridge on Monday, we have to post it.
I'm not gonna go,
Okay.
sorry.
If 2 of you,
Oh, I didn't know.
okay,
Don't tell anybody.
So one of you come on Tuesday.
yeah, just one.
That would-
Okay.
Yeah.
When Andy Custer.
Well, what would be so hard about
Maybe.
posting it?
It's not, it's just a matter of,
What would be so hard about posting it? So if 2 of you wanna go,
Yeah,
if 2 of you wanna go, you go.
oh yeah, it's not hard at all. It's
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to have it ahead of time? I didn't think about that.
Well, it has to be posted 24 hours before.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
just
yes.
24.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just 24 hours. yeah.
okay, so let's post it, that way we can all feel like we can come there and not have
Okay.
any discussions about being in the same room at the same time,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay,
And this is, you said
and that
November
is on,
4th?
no, this is the October 31st.
Oh, October, it's
Halloween.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Special
from
tablecloths.
9 to noon.
Halloween.
Ooh.
Are you doing 9 to noon?
9 to noon.
Okay.
And we have a Bartlett Jackson, potential
Oh.
Bartlett Jackson ambulance, or,
No, that was last week.
no, there's something
The
else.
transfer
Transfer.
station.
Transfer station.
I think was that date, one of those 2 days, Monday, Tuesday.
What time job you guys have?
When is that?
Monday or Tuesday next week, they
Yeah.
would like to know when you guys can meet.
I'm pretty open, I think, but I'll have to look back on my email on that one now, I can't remember.
Okay.
I
So
have to go,
I
sorry.
do,
I have to go,
okay,
but I think we're safe.
okay, we're set. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the October 31st, you're gonna post for that, Julie.
Mhm.
And then we have the public information hearing on November 16th. And then on November 4th is the time you're having another open house, but that's not on a Tuesday morning from 9 to noon. It's a different day, It's a
Saturday morning, 9 to noon.
Okay. Saturday, 9 to noon. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Emily.
Yep, thanks.
Anything else, Jay? Since we just said transfer station, I just wanted to share something. E-news went out that
Thanks, Jay.
thank you, that the store is closed, and there's a really unfortunate situation there where someone left something in the store that the manager, Bob Blake, had to deal with, and that's why it's closed for now. So we're going to be
Thanks, Bert.
meeting next week.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Bert. We're going to be meeting next week with Bartlett Selectmen to come up with some options for the transfer station store, but it is disgusting and unfortunate and disrespectful. So I just want to say thanks to the guys at the transfer station, all they do every day with that they're there, and we're grateful to have that service. So.
And they want to meet on the Monday, the 30th, or Tuesday, the 31st?
And I think I said I'm open either of those days, but
Yeah, you did. You did.
I think
Yeah.
Okay.
Monday is a tough day, with what I've got on the schedule for work, but Tuesday I'm open in the afternoons.
Okay, if you would have just emailed that back to Julie, she can.
Okay.
If you
When you
didn't
say
already.
afternoons, what time do you mean?
Anytime after 2,
Oh, that would be wonderful, mid-afternoon.
3, 4,
2:30.
5,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna try and go to the bridge meeting on Monday with
That would
those
be-
engineers,
yeah.
just to listen to these boys and see what they have
Yeah.
to say, you know, after all these years. So,
Okay, all right, so we're looking at the 31st for that. All right. That's the fire station discussion. Okay, Paul Pagliarulo timeline, we have heard nothing back from him on his timeline. He is still, then, thanks for coming. Did you need to make any comments or anything while you're still here? Just came to observe?
I think it's been your long enough, I should start knowing what's going on.
Thank you, we really enjoyed seeing you though.
Thank you.
Thanks, take care. Okay, so on Paul Pagliarulo, he has an expired building permit. It expired back on March 20th, 2023, and no work has been done since 2020, but he really does need to submit a new permit application if he intends to do any work on his property. Kevin is aware of this. We already stated that he should give us a timeline of what he has put into his property, but we haven't heard back. So if he does decide to start working on his building project, he will not be able to do so unless he submits a new permit. Did I miss anything that you can think of on that one? Okay.
No, and it seemed like,
It's-
I was surprised it kept carrying over. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all in his court.
Yeah,
And
so,
Kevin's been clear with him.
yes. So unless, it can be taken off the agenda unless he starts construction on his property again without a permit, in my opinion. All right, Denaro driveway permit. We can approve this because it is all set, and Kevin and Gary Allen both weighed in on this. I guess Gary did, and looked at the culvert and everything, so we can take that off the pending list as well, and everyone is good, and that's been signed and passed on, right, Julie?
Yep.
Okay.
It's all set.
Yay, get rid of those pending items. All right, on short-term rentals, we have a new short-term rental application for Rydell, and it's three-bedroom approved, three-bedroom approved, septic and building plan, and they're advertising for 3-bedroom sleeps 8, so it is okay to prove. And this is for Rydell as the owner, 61-1 Eastfield Road, map R17, lot 31A-E19. Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve this Kendrick 85 Lindy Road map, R16 lot.
The one above it.
No, the rest, Rydell, okay.
Yep.
61-1 Eastfield Road map, R17 lot 31A-E19.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right?
Aye. Awesome. And just one signature here. Right, 10, 24. Okay, the second one is that we voted to send a violation letter to Scott Kudrick for his property at 85 Dundee Road, map R16, lot 3. And Julie spoke to him last week, and he cleared up the fact that the website that was being looked at for his rental was an old website. You couldn't click on it to book. He has a new landing page for the website, and he has changed everything in his advertisement to adhere to the short-term rentals. So he does have his conditional use permit, he is adhering to that, and there is no violation to file.
Good.
So, the one thing he did bring up, and I guess I want to see if we can make a motion to make this standard in our upcoming meetings, is that we contact the owner of a short-term rental if they are going to be put on the agenda for a violation notice, because we've gotten that comment several times that we need to contact them ahead of time so they can come and defend themselves or plead their case. So I will make a motion that we contact the owners of short-term rentals prior to putting them on the agenda for a meeting to be sure that they can be represented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank
Is that
you.
with a certified letter?
Either,
Is that standard,
probably
Julie?
It is standard, so,
If they're gonna be on the agenda?
yeah.
yeah, and that's how we were told to do it per Peter Malia.
Mhm.
Because you're not, you're going to approve whether or not they get a violation notice, so.
Right.
And maybe it shouldn't say violation notice, maybe it should say pending items.
Yeah.
And then you can discuss it at the meeting, rather than.
Yeah, I think pending
Yeah.
Yeah,
violation.
pending.
Sounds-
Let's start off neutral.
Yeah,
rather than
yeah.
negative.
Yeah. And I would think certified letter, but we also require that they have a local, a contact on their conditional use permit, so we could reach out to them by phone if it, you know, if it becomes, we have both ways, but I think a certified letter would be
Right.
a good way.
Yeah.
All right, building and driveway permits, we just have one, so I'm sure Kevin is bored. That is for the house on map V3 lot 38 on 62 Cameron Drive. They are installing a generator. So I'm sure there were no comments on that, or Kevin would be here to talk to us. And any public comment? Hank?
No.
It's all you. Thanks for what you do. We really appreciate you
You're welcome.
having these meetings.
Welcome.
Any other comments?
Good.
Awesome. Upcoming meetings, besides the ones that we all talked about tonight. October 26th at 5 p.m. is a working session with the planning board, so that will be here. And then Tuesday, November 14th at 3:30 is the first select meeting in November, and the second one is November 28th at 3:30. We will also be having a meeting next week with the Bartlett Select Board to talk about the transfer station, and beyond that, we'll have more to publish next meeting. Anything else?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 4:48.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.